scrolling through, you're about ready to go live on your end. Teddy's already gone through the slides, it looks like. So whenever you're ready, we'll just start. He's already gone through the slides. I can always cut that off. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Come take a seat if you haven't already. Welcome to OC Spiritual Center. And we're so glad you're here, and welcome to those watching on live stream and Facebook Live. And our message today from Dr. Jim, actually, it's a really jam-packed day with some wonderful stuff. Today we start week 1 of our 7-week Verity program. So today's focus is the Verity of Love. Message title is Seize Your Freedom, Master the Essentials. It all begins with love. Our prayer practitioner is Ariana Duke, and our reading is by Eve Chevelle. And I'll be leading the prayer song today. And you're in for a treat. We have the amazing singer-songwriter, Jamie Lula. Let's give it up for him. He's going to start us off with a song.
So it's a relatively easy chant. You'll pick up on it, and I hope that you join in, because I know that you've all been warming up in your cars on the way here, right? And it goes like this. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Give it a try. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. I am. Oh, I am. That I am. Oh, I am. That I am. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Come on, I am. I am. That I am. Oh, I am. That I am, I am, oh, I am, that I am, oh, I am, that I am. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. One more time, come on. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest. We are the harvest we reap. One more time. We are the harvest we reap.
Well, hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Ariana Duke. I'm one of your new practitioners here at the center. Been here forever, but just became a practitioner. Anyways, I want to remind you that there are 3 ways to get prayer. 1 is to fill out an affirmative prayer request. 2 is to receive a prayer after service from a practitioner. And 3 is to call a practitioner. Their numbers are in the back of the program. And after the centering prayer, there will be a moment of silence for peace.
Good morning, everyone. Let's get centered with our morning prayer song. So everyone take a deep breath. Exhale. You can close your eyes. You can look at the words on the screen. Sing along. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Into my God.
Today's quote is, "Giving is better than receiving because it starts the receiving process." Jim Rohn. Please join me in the centering prayer and know that I speak these words for myself, that I speak them for you also. And just to know that as I wrote this prayer, I have my dad and my dad's side of the family who lives in Israel in mind. A magnificent force that brings us all together, uniting the presence of God within us. Seeing God in everything that exists on this planet and beyond. Knowing and becoming one with this presence, I unify with the God that surrounds every one of us. We are God, and God is us. The unification of God with my environment and all the people in the world brings us together, each one of us. We are moving in the direction of our highest and greatest good. The world is unified together for the universal highest and greatest good. I declare that the best possible outcome in my life is happening right here and right now. I am deserving of all the infinite good I receive with open arms, and I know the truth within myself and for everyone else. I shine bright, and I no longer dim my light. I let go of all fear, and I accept only God's divine light within myself. Each and every day, I trust my intuition and the path that leads me there, knowing that each step I take in my path is divinely led. I trust the universe and the world that there is peace right here and right now. I am so grateful for everything in my life, the good times, the times that I have perceived bad, which are only a disconnect from source. I am grateful for my connection with spirit and source. My vessel of gratitude overflows for my life, my path, the opportunities that arise and are divinely guided towards me. I release this, allowing my gifts to come easily and effortlessly, attracting everything and more I could ever want in life. I let go and I let God, and so it is. Got to jump in now. What did I say?
And please join us in the offertory affirmation, or the affirmation on the screen.
In this moment, the only course of action I need to take is to love unconditionally. Love is the only way to tell the truth. And so it is. And please join me for a moment of silence and for peace.
Thank you. So I'd like to welcome back on our stage Jamie Lula.
This song was requested by Prince Jim. Soon to be king. Or queen. I never know. It's okay. It might be a good look on you. But I remember this song from growing up. And then I had a vocal student that came to my studio apartment that my mom cried at when she saw. And he sang this song, and I said, "John, I love you, but I think I'm going to steal this song from you."
Imagine we're in heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine Imagine there's no countries. Isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion to imagine all the people join us, and the world is one. Imagine no possessions. I don't know if I can. No need for greed or hunger. Oh, we are a brotherhood and sisterhood of man. Imagine all of the people sharing all the world. You may say that I am a dreamer, but I know I'm not the only one. 'Cause I know that this day they all join us, and the world will be as one. Come on and sing it with me. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know someday they'll join us, and the world is one. Imagine, oh, imagine, oh, imagine we got a vision for this world that starts within each other, so we give ourselves permission to be free. And imagine, oh, imagine what.
So, you know why I requested that song? To bring myself and every one of you to tears. Because if you're not in tears, I don't know what to do for you. So today, we launch a series of talks on the verities. And you often hear me talk about verities, is because they are truth. They are truth that know no opposite. And the first verity is love. And I know some people think love has an opposite, but it doesn't. So I'm going to talk about that today, and also talk a little bit about a class that I teach called Visionary, to give you a visual picture of where many people are struggling, but how you can absolutely heal whatever that struggle's about. But to get us started, we're going to have Eve Chaval read to you from Something Inside Your Program. You got it, Eve.
Dr. Jim says, while goals are not inherently good or bad, they can be limiting if in the pursuit of your goals you miss the rest of your life. Number one, a visionary understands that when it comes to growth, failure is as important as success. Number two, growth makes all experience valid, good or bad. Even the difficult experiences where it looked like you failed were in fact necessary for your maturation and development. Number three, as one friend of mine likes to say, it's all a gift. This knowledge helps to stabilize a visionary's life, from Dr. Jim Terrell's The Visionary Course. And Dr. Holmes says, we should strive towards a perfect vision, a perfect conception. We should expand our thought until it realizes all good, and then cut right through all that appears to be, and use this almighty power for definite purposes. We should daily feel a deeper union with life, a greater sense of that indwelling God, the God of the seen and of the unseen within us. Science of Mind, page 147.
Nicely done, Eve. Thank you. So I have a son-in-law who's terribly talented, and I have a grandson equally talented. And Kevin created these bookmarks, and I'm going to have them passed out to you right now. So everybody gets a bookmark. Did we pass out the bookmarks yet? Go ahead and start passing them out. So these are going to be collector's items eventually because they are works of art. And you'll get one of these each week for the next 7 weeks in a row. And as you collect these, what we want you to do is to keep them in close proximity to where you'll be on a regular basis, so you can remind yourself that the only thing that really matters in your life is love. That's the only thing that really matters. Now, I know some of you might think other things matter, but they don't matter like love matters. And there's 3 affirmations in there. And the first affirmation, did we have somebody read the affirmation? We didn't do the affirmation. They were in the program. But we did read that affirmation. Okay. So love is the truth. And some people have a hard time with that because they think love is an experience of a relationship, where in fact it is an experience of a relationship you're having with the divine. Most people don't see it that way, though, because most people don't realize they're in relationship with the divine. Even though they don't count the divine in, the divine has counted you in. And when you finally understand that, and you turn your direction towards the divine, then what happens is this metamorphosis, this transformation of things that change in your life. And that's where the class on vision comes into this. And I want the first slide up, just so you get a picture of what this is like. Go ahead and bring up the first slide. That's love. Let's give Kevin a round of applause for that beautiful slide, by the way. And keep going. Next slide. So this is Visionary 23, which I'm going to be offering November 4th. It's a one-day workshop, and many people have taken it. One person that took it recently, or should I say a while back, had told me that it had a significant change in how she did her medical practice, to the point where it shifted how she thought about how she was as a doctor. Anyway, let's go to the next slide. So it all starts with, with this experience. That little ellipse up there is, say, you at birth, you at conception. And then you grow, next slide, and this is you in elementary school. In the next slide. This is you in high school. In the next slide. This is you perhaps in college, but taking on a career. And the next slide. There you go. And the next slide is an open ellipse. It has yet to fill itself in. And for many people, they get very close to who they are. They get a career going. And then suddenly they're faced with all kinds of problems that childhood did not prepare them for. Heartache, failure, misunderstanding, vocabulary, figuring out how to explain things to people. And these represent the scope and range of who you are. And so many people are in this position where that top ellipse has not filled itself into an experience that we could identify as something that creates who we are. But it's rather than who we are reacting to, but it creates who we are in truth. And there's one thing that we fail to recognize that Einstein said was more important than knowledge, was the imagination. Imagination is absolutely essential to the growing life that you might have. And so everything comes out of your imagination. So the next slide. And from out of your imagination, you need to have 3, shall we say, skill sets to understand what's coming out of your imagination. And the first one is direct experience. The second one is purpose. And then the third one is vision. So next slide. So what happens is those 3 things, when you consciously decide to think about them, consciously decide to examine your direct experience with life. Now, I'm not talking about your current reality. I'm talking about your direct experience of life. So for instance, if you thought about the people that you had conversations with yesterday, the places you were visiting, the feelings that you had, the ideas that you might have experienced, All of those things come into one experience, and that is who you are in this moment. It's not what you did in the past. It's not what you're going to do in the future. It's who you are in the moment. And if you forget who you are in the moment, this class is designed to help you focus on your direct experience, and you begin to report and observe it rather than judge it. Hear the difference? Report and rather than. So when you report and you observe it rather than judge it, you are opening yourself up to creating a new reality. Now, a lot of people think to themselves, how is that possible, Dr. Jim? I could create a new reality. I'm experiencing the same reality day after day. And I remember a friend of mine, Paul Williams, said, day after day, my life just goes by me. And every day seems like it's going to get worse or get better. But in the process, I'm struggling with who I am. So the class and this particular message today about love is to set you on course so that you're not going to a place or a destination, but you're going to a place of deposition, or shall we say, deposing who you are to yourself and to the world, showing the world who you are. And as you do that, you begin to attract new experiences to you. And it also requires that you have a purpose in life. Now, purpose, of course, is very important because it gives you the details of what it is that you're to do today. If I asked you the question, what could you be, do, or have to help you fulfill a life of peace? What could you be or... So if you answer that question, I could be this, or I could do that, or I could have that, then you're starting to build a purpose within yourself, and that's what we do in the class. But today you could just imagine, what would that action be like? What could I be? Well, one thing you could be is loving. You could say, I'm making a commitment to love today. Say that. I'm making a commitment to love today. And when you fall into that posture of love, you can't afford to be judgmental. You can't afford to have an opinion that would contradict the idea of love. And then what something really remarkable happens when you do that is the truth of who you are begins to appear. It has nothing to do with the reality that you've been living. It has to do with the reality that you were created to live. It has to do with the reality you were created to live. And many people are not living the reality they were created to live because they're lost with an old map of reality. It had to do with judgment, had to do with restrictions, had to do with a limitation upon who we are. Self-imposed, but it didn't feel self-imposed because we created a cast of characters that showed up to tell us who we aren't. And when you create that cast of characters, you're thinking, how can I possibly not believe that's what people are telling me all the time? So in the process of becoming like this little child, we are confused and we're lost in a world with an old reality map. And the analogy I make is like being in San Francisco with a map of Chicago. You know, trying to figure out where you are, and you can't because there's no place that a destination will take you. Every route you take seems to lead to a different experience, but it's not the direct experience of spirit. Because when you first understand, you can develop your own purpose. What could I commit to? What could I be, do, or have? And you start to change your mind what you be, do, or have. Then you start out writing a purpose for yourself. And then you check that purpose against your own personal experience. And when that happens, you realize how much you're compromising who you are in truth. You're compromising who you are in truth. And when you're compromising something that's really the truth of who you are, it's like denying the fact that you are the unexpressed expression of God who created you to live a rich, meaningful, wonderful existence. So a lot of people think that you were created to live on this earth because you have to, dogma to take care of, or you have to relive experiences. And the truth about it is that you're here on a spiritual vacation. You didn't know that, did you? And you're sitting in economy because that's where you put yourself. Listen again, you put yourself in rather than first class because you didn't think you deserved it or earned it. So the concept of earning and deserving plays heavily into the fact that that's the reason why you're sitting in economy. And with I say, no leg room whatsoever. And just very marginal food. And every once in a while, you kind of sneak up to go to the bathroom. You have to walk through first class. You get to see what they're eating. You get to see that they've got the leg room. You're thinking to yourself, what do I have to do to get here? And it's the wrong question to ask yourself. Who am I not to be here? You're all first class. And when you finally realize that and you accept that fact, then you'll start to travel and experience life in a first class basis. Now, that doesn't mean that you'll have this huge amount of money just drop into your lap, but it means that you'll have this huge amount of creative energy, which you were created to utilize into a vision for who you desire to be, because people without vision eventually will perish. And when you go down with the ship, you're wondering, why did I do that? Why didn't I listen to that inner voice within me, which is speaking to me in terms of love? Like it loves me so unconditionally, it says, just tell me what you want. Just tell me what you want. A wonderful minister named Raymond Charles Barker, who was in New York City, and he was the minister there, and I had a chance to know Raymond before he passed, is that people come into his counseling, his room for counseling, and Raymond would say, what would make you happy? And it stumps people. They don't know what would make them happy. And maybe sometimes they think, well, my bills would be paid. I wouldn't be afraid that I don't have enough money. I wouldn't be afraid that my relationships aren't working, or I wouldn't have any fear. See, then he realizes, and they realize simultaneously, they're living in effect. And what is effect? The experience of fear and the fear of expectations that aren't working, causing you complete lack of trust. The experience of fear is causing you the complete lack of trust because you don't trust God. You don't trust that God is, or this presence that the goddess is, whatever we want to call it, because it doesn't have a gender. That's kind of funny that they would want to appoint a gender to something that's infinite, because that would be a problem for me. I wouldn't want to be that infinite, that only infinite being. I want to be it all. I want to experience everything that life has to offer, and I want to become the presence of that love that I was intended to be. And so when you finally get to that point, something weird happens. I'll call it weird because first time I experienced it was about 1976, just after I got a few years into this philosophy, and I was at a conference up at Lake Arrowhead, and I'd been in conferences or in small dyads and groups all day long going through workshops, and I went that evening out to the meadow, UCLA Conference Center, and I was by myself. I just held my arms open like this. I looked up, and for just a moment, I could not tell the difference between where I was and who I was and where I was at. I could only see myself as the stars, the trees, the beautiful sense of nature. And at that moment, I had never, ever had that experience before in my life. I would call that my conversion experience. Because at that point, I said, I don't ever want to not live in that. I don't want that to ever abandon me, ever again. So I had to begin making choices, and I had to develop a purpose and a vision for what I was becoming. And as I developed those choices and that vision, life began to gradually change in ways that I could not predict. Is life changing sometimes like you cannot predict, why is this happening to me? What's happening to me in the process of what I'm changing into is that I'm jettisoning all the things that no longer serve me, and I'm welcoming things in that I don't have a lot of competency in. I remember when I first I thought about becoming a practitioner, when practitioners get up here and they read to you their prayers, aren't you always impressed? And if I said, would you come up and do a prayer? He said, well, I'm not prepared. Exactly. You're not prepared. Why aren't you prepared? Because you didn't want to take classes. You didn't want to study who you are in truth. And so when you studied and you took classes, and suddenly you realized you were preparing yourself to become not only yourself, but to become that person who could answer the question, what would make me happy? Because the question is not stuff, it's spirit. And when you get to spirit and you feel like you're one with the world, there is nothing to worry about. So I think Janet gave a great talk last week, didn't she? A wonderful talk. Why worry? What is the advantage? There is no advantage to worry. There is no advantage to fear. And I know some people will say, I'm going to overcome my fear. And then somebody who says that doesn't realize that you have to create a consciousness where the fear doesn't exist to overcome. Create a consciousness where it doesn't exist. That's how you create a life that doesn't know fear, but knows a constant state of love. And even walking through the valley of the shadow of death, which many of you do on a regular basis, because you're thinking that life might collapse on you if you don't do this and don't do that. But keep walking, keep moving through. And as you move through, you begin to see that was just an effect created by my misunderstanding of who I am. I misunderstood. I thought I was a person here to create a living. You're here to create a life, not a living. And when you create that life that you were intended to live, then you become the actual living presence of love. And that presence of love changes everything. Because when you finally admit to yourself that I am that loving expression of God, then whatever you're doing, you will turn your attention to doing it spiritually. And when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I've expressed this before, for a living after I taught for 15 years, about 12 years into that occupation, I said, I don't know if I can keep going. I want to do something else. And I was in the process of taking all these classes, preparing me to be a practitioner. And then I took classes to be a minister, only I didn't take them to become a minister. I took the classes because I wanted to learn more. Not with the minister in mind, but with just learning more. And as I learned more, I got less and less happy with what I was doing present. And so I went to my minister, Dr. Leslie Harold, and I said, what do I do? And he did a treatment for me. But he told me one piece of advice, which is absolutely essential to my progress. He said, make sure you're loving who you are in this moment and loving who you're with in this moment. So I went back for the next 3 years, and I loved my children in my classes like I'd never loved them before. I dedicated myself to making sure that they were successful at being musicians and successful at being students and successful as being human beings. Matter of fact, one of the classes I taught was an orchestra class, and I split everybody up into ensembles, little trios and duets and quartets. And I'd say, okay, now you're going to all work together, but before you start working, each person has to say something nice about the person they're with. They looked at me in shock. I'm supposed to say something nice about them? I said, yes, because you can't rehearse until you do that. So pretty soon the word got out that this was a place where you would learn to be nice to each other. But more importantly than that, they learned how to do solfege spiritually. Solfege is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. You learn how to sing those notes. Just the way you learn how to sing the verities. Love, life, light, peace, beauty, joy, and truth. And so you learn that scale of things, and then life takes on a whole different scale, a whole different way of living. And pretty soon, that ellipse that was empty gets filled in. And that's when, as it got filled in, I knew I had to do something different than going to insurance or real estate, because that was the only options I could think of, or business. And then it suddenly occurred to me, why are you studying? What have you been preparing yourself for? And I thought, it's to be a minister. I thought, but wait a minute, I didn't think of myself as a minister. And suddenly I did. I mean, instantaneously I did. And I wrote a prayer because I was up at the redwood trees, and I wrote, before the end of this academic year, I will be a minister of a church teaching, reading, and speaking metaphysics for a living. I had no idea what was going to happen. I graduated in January of 1984, and I became a candidate, because when you're new, churches that are looking for ministers put out the word, and so you candidate, you send them a resume. So they get all these resumes, and they pick 3 people they want to come and talk to them. And they picked me for Cape Coral, Florida, which was a surprise to me, because I'd only been to Florida like 2 times in my life. And then I thought, this is an adventure. So I went there with not the expectation of getting the job, but with the expectation of just bringing myself in spirit to that moment. And I was 38 years old. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm loving the idea of becoming a minister, and they hired me. And I thought, what are you getting yourself into? And of course, the first 6 weeks were, why did I do this? Because they weren't necessarily pleasant. That's when I said that failure sometimes is what has to follow when you make advances. The first thing you learn is how incompetent you are at what you thought you were going to be competent at. And that in level of incompetence, it has to change because you have to actually employ what you've learned to help others, to help yourself. I do a lot of prayer work on myself. I called my sponsor in Roy Graves in Winter Haven, Florida, and I said, I'm going through hell. And he said, well, if you're going through hell, don't stop. And build a condominium. In other words, don't stop believing who you are in truth. Because you're going to walk through the things that have to change in your life, which has to be your opinion of what's happening to you. Then you realize you're just simply understanding that you are being specific about who you are as a minister. So for instance, when I got there at the church, they had their own building and everything, but they were smoking during service. Can you imagine that? They were actually smoking cigarettes during service. Now, they did it in the back of the service because that's where the ashtrays were. They had spent thousands of dollars on a thing that would, clean the smoke out of the air, but it didn't work, really. So the first thing I did was I said, can't smoke anymore in church. 10 people left. I thought, oh, man, I'm failing at this job. Then I said, you can't smoke in the foyer either because the little kids are running around and you don't want a cigarette dangling down from somebody's hand. Another 10 people left. And I said, this isn't working. Yes, it was, because it was helping me be very clear and specific about what I am as a minister and what my center would look like. And when I became clear about that, everything began to change gradually, but sequentially it did change. And as I grew, I realized I was really enjoying becoming and learning about becoming a leader in a spiritual community and what that meant. And as I understood that, what that meant, then love began to inform me of who I am in the process of that experience. I am the unconditional expression of love. And I'm not judging anybody, even though there were people I did not like. I'm not judging them because they're there scripted for me so I could learn. Did you hear what I just said? They're there scripted by me. So all the people that you think are difficult in your life, you wrote their script. And they showed up at an appropriate time to actually, you had to interchange with that. And you had to change your script so that you didn't embellish their script. So as you changed and you came from love, then what happened is the avenues of expression showed up. And avenues of expression that show up, I could say things differently, and I could come from love, and I could listen to them, because listening was absolutely essential to understanding. Wouldn't you agree? And if you don't listen, chances are you won't understand. And as I listened, I heard the complaints weren't about me. It was what they were unhappy with in their own lives. And as soon as I directed my ministry in that direction, everything changed, became much better. And then I decided that Florida lacked one thing: mountains. The old joke was you had to go up on a bridge to get a nosebleed because there was no elevation. And so consequently, my first wife and I, Jean, moved back to California. And I said, if you get a job first, because she was a teacher also, then I will start a church. And that's what happened. So I started this church almost 36 years ago. And here's the funny part. 33 people showed up at the first service that I had. It was at Orange Coast College in the science room. And 13 of those were relatives, so they didn't count. They just wanted to see if I actually had the guts to do what I was saying I was doing. And so then over the period of time during the summer, because I started in May of '87, during the summer, there was a noticeable, the 21, 22 became like 6. I remember Jean asked me, she says, are you going to keep doing this? I said, yeah. Why? Because you're not getting the results. I said, yes, I am. I'm getting to know how to do this job. That means, so the how comes into the fact that when you put yourself out there, all the experiences that you experience are necessary so you can grow. Because growth is impossible. So on the thing that, can I show that last, I think we didn't show the last slide. I don't think we showed it. And if we can bring it up. Imagination, go ahead, next slide. There are 5 attributes of a visionary lifestyle. Next slide. They are choice. Now, before you go on to the next, wait a minute, well, choice is a feature. You ever heard of features and benefits? And the thing that you got to talk about is the benefit, but you have to teach the feature. So it's choice. When you get choice, you get freedom. Next slide up. And then, so then, the next feature was, next slide, stability. When you become stable, the benefit is, next slide, security. You feel stable and secure. Now, this is what happens when you spiritually understand this about yourself, too. Third slide, next slide up. Focus. That's a feature that we train you to do, is to get focused. And the benefit is, next slide, direction. You actually have a direction to go with your life. Next slide. Productivity. You suddenly become amazingly productive about what you're doing with your life. Next slide. The benefit is you feel good about yourself. Esteem. And the last slide, feature is growth. You start to grow, and the benefit of growth is, next slide, status. Not status in your community, but status in your own mind and your own heart. That you finally have risen to an occasion that presented itself to you that was not about trying to achieve something, but it was about seeking to become something, not achieve it. Now, in the beginning, I said, you know, a lot of people set goals for their lives, and so they like step up the goals. There's a whole part of their life that's missing because they didn't experience it during their goal-setting experience. And they suddenly arrived at a goal, and the whole life became like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It just fell over on its own because it wasn't supported by all the other experiences that you had decided not to get into. So I know some of you will say, Dr. Jim, I don't want to do this. I don't want to experience that right now. I want to work on this. Then I would say to you, you need to go experience that. Why would I say that to you? Because you need to experience whatever that is and how it works into your life. And as you do that and you become one whole solid human being, and then you don't set a goal anymore, you set a horizon. And you aim for the horizon, not the goal. And when you aim for the horizon, it means that the scope and range of who you are now includes the infinite nature of what you were created to experience. The scope and range finally includes not a goal, but a horizon that you can live in now. And everything that you need to learn is there at the next step. And it won't necessarily be as difficult as the beginning steps were, because you're finally learning how to handle your own growth by not becoming fearful, not becoming expectations that don't work, not by not trusting God, but by increasing your trust of Spirit is. And when that increases, you become not only whole, perfect, and complete, which you were in the very beginning, the next horizon shows up, and the next horizon shows up. And you never, ever stop growing. And you never, ever stop accomplishing not just status, but you become productive of love. Because love was what you were created to be, and love is who you are. Thank you. So now, I have a love prayer for you. It's in your program, but there aren't any affirmations for the week. There's just this card with 3 affirmations on it. But in your program, you'll see the prayer, and I'll read it to you out loud now. It's for every one of you. The power of love is the power of the universe animating life. I unify with love, and I recognize that freedom creates choice, stability creates security, direction creates focus, esteem creates productivity, and growth creates status. There is no power in a mind fed by fear, lack, or limitation. The power is in a mind fed by the truth. in this moment that the only course of action I need to take is to love unconditionally, because love is the only way to tell the truth. Today, I let love be the only desire I express. I dismiss all other desires, and including doubt or any kind of worry, or in this moment, I turn to my imagination as the source of my direct experience, my purpose, and my vision. As the horizon of my potential expands, my consciousness and my direct contact with the universe energizes my life. Thank you, God, for operating my good and my joy. Daily, I am fed by my imagination, which creates my ability to experience freedom, security, focus, productivity, and growth. Blessings to all, and to all a good life. Released my life is the outcome of my consciousness, bringing all that is I desire into expression. Only God knows how the magic works. And so it does, and so it is. So, we have announcements.
Am I on? There we go. I remember that, by the way. I remember them smoking in the sanctuary.
Yes.
I was in 6th grade. So now we've come to the offertory part of our service. And there are 3 ways that you can donate. You can put your giving in the basket as it goes around. You can scan the QR code up there, which takes you to our website, ocspiritualcenter.com. That's another way. And before we start that, I'd like to share with you powerful words said by Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse in this month's Science of Mind magazine called We Must Give to Receive. He says, I know the power of giving firsthand. The promise of tithing has demonstrated in my life for more than 35 years and has never failed me. When I receive money, I look at the circumstances of my life and ask myself, where am I being spiritually fed? An answer always comes, and 10% of what I received goes to that soul-nourishing source. And now please say with me the offertory affirmation that will be on the screen. I'm waiting for it. Today, I let love be the only desire I express. And now please give it up for Jamie Lula back on the stage.
It's so good to hear you, Dr. Jim. So good to hear you. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. I wish you peace. I wish you joy. I wish you love, 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 love. I wish you faith in yourself to reveal all that you've come here to be. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. I wish you strength. I wish you courage, wish you love, 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 love. I wish you purpose to create all your dreams and co-conspire with the light of your life. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Oh, 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 your answers to eternity are always deep inside you. Their freedom of expression is yours to choose right now. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Oh, love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Here's the sing-along part. Love is my religion. Love is. Come on and sing it with me. Love is my religion. Love is. Come on, Teddy, I can't hear you. Love is my religion. Love is. Let me hear you sing it out loud.
Love is
My religion. Love is. A little Catholic. Come on, a little louder. Come on. Love is my religion. Love is. One more time. Come on now. Love is my religion. Love is. Love is. Oh, love is. One more time. Let me hear you say, love is. Love.
He's amazing, isn't he? Another round of applause for Jamie Lula. So, this is a blessing upon all the gifts and tithes that flow into this center, knowing that each person has rendered a decision of love, and that's what this is. And so it is. Amen. You got a few announcements, Erica.
So first of all, I want to welcome any new visitors here. We have a gift for you we'd like to give. So if you are new here for the first time, if you wouldn't mind raising your hands so we can acknowledge you.
No newbies
All
today.
right.
Okay.
So every week before our service, we have a meditation group. How many of you have taken the opportunity to go to our morning meditation? Wonderful. I would strongly encourage it. It's a great way to start your week. If you arrive at 9:45, it's just 2 doors down outside of Campus Jacks. And this Tuesday, with Reverend Janet, we have our beginning of our foundations class that she will be teaching. And also this Thursday, October 12th, Dr. Jim will begin his class, This Thing Called You. And you can register for those at our website, ocspiritualcenter.com. And also, we're really excited today is our Decades concert here at Campus Jacks. And it is featuring our center band with Jacob Bigham, Kristen Lee Allred, and David Weeks Wynn are the singers. And you're going to hear music through the decades from the 50s up through the 90s. And doors open at 5 p.m. and it starts at 6. And if you'd like to dress in your favorite decades costume, that would be fun. Get on your 60s or 70s, even 80s. I don't know about 80s. I don't want to relive
I'm wearing
that.
my 50s outfit.
And there'll even be prizes available for that. And you can buy your ticket at the door. We have leftover tickets. And if you have any questions, you can see Marion or Patty after the service about that. Sunday, October 29th is our Friendship Sunday. This is a great way to honor a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, a family member. If you'd like to send us their name and a short paragraph why you are honoring them, and that day we will honor them with a complimentary bouquet of flowers. So be sure to do that if you'd like to take advantage of that. And also that same day, it's so close to Halloween, if you'd like to wear a costume to our Sunday service that day. And we also have that day Raquel Olamende here for a free salsa lesson after the service. And we thank you so much for joining us today at OC Spiritual Center. We want to thank you, our soloist, Jamie Lula. And he will be available after the service if you'd like to talk to him, and he has items there, CDs and wonderful music he's written. And you don't want to miss next Sunday because it's the second week in our Verity program, and these are the beautiful bookmarks. You're going to receive one each Sunday that you're here. There's 7 altogether. So next Sunday, the focus is life. So you're going to get one of these next week. So invite a friend to join along, and they will get one too. And also our featured musician next week, next slide, is Ray Davis. Don't want to miss him. He's amazing. And so that's it for our service today, and we'd like to invite Jamie to close us out. Here we go.
Thank you once again for having me back. It's been a long time, but I'm so grateful to be here with you, Jim, and you rock. Erica, thank you so much. Come and visit me at my table. I'm doing a songwriters retreat for beginners and people that have been doing it for years up in Vernonia at the Cedar Ridge camp that CSL bought in February. It's a weekend. It'll be intense. It'll be beautiful. If you're interested, come see me. And here's a Floyd Lula song to help close things out. In the name of love, with a heart of grace, overflow in us, decorate this place. As it is below, so it is above. May we stand in love, in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one. In the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. In the name of love. In the name of love. May we always be seeking out the best till we all are free, living in a world we've been dreaming of, where we stand as one in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one in the name of love. Hear the sing along. In the name of love, in the name of love, in the name of love, in the name of love. When the day is done, we be one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. Here we go, y'all. In the name of love. In the name of love. Sing it out, yeah, yeah, yeah. In the name of love. In the name of love. Oh, in the name of love. In the name of love. that home. Yeah. In the name of love. In the name of love.
Thank you, Jamie. We'll see you here all next week. Don't forget you get your bookmark, the one that has to do with life. Have a nice Sunday, everybody. Yes.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just